Nope. All right, call me to order. 5:46. All right, we'll start off with the roll. So George Alvarez here. Rodolfo Blanco not here. Eric Brandon not here. Matthew Castañón is here. Jose Llano not here. Jessica Medina.
Here.
Manuel Perez not here. Romy.
Here.
Andrew Ricci.
Here.
Magali Rubio not here. Carlos Padilla.
Here.
And Danny Gonzalez.
Here.
Sweet. We can move on to orders of business, deferrals, additions, deletion. The only thing that I gotta add that I forgot was the Chamber Expo that's coming up, and if we wanted to participate in that, so I guess I can put that in
I would like to add an item B to old business.
Yeah.
To get some feedback on the boot camp for next year.
Yes.
So there's gonna be 2 minutes from September and then one from August 20th. The original August 20th minutes showed $500 for the networking event after the boot camp, which should be recognized as 1,000. I went back just to make sure that it was all clear, because that's what, at least what I had remembered. And the restaurant is obviously waiting for money and I don't wanna froze all of that, so if there's gonna be any motions on the both minutes.
But just motion to edit the minutes for it to be 1,000 instead of 500.
It's like the amended minute for 1,000.
Cool. I can make that motion, right? Cool. So I'm gonna motion to update the previous minutes. So instead of 500 to copy, maybe throw it to 1,000 for the boot camp network event.
I see.
Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Cool. We're good to go on that. So 1,000, we can get them maybe this stuff. Awesome. So yeah, that would be the. We just go to approval of minutes, I guess. So now with that edit, and we've got the 9:17 minutes attached. We can take a look at those, make sure everything's in order. The last time was mainly taken over by the boot camp,
Mhm.
and now we're gonna be getting back into the flow of them, so. Everybody wants a motion for those minutes.
Motion to approve. I second.
Cool, all in favor?
Aye.
Awesome, so we're good on the minutes. Next up, we can move to the budget. So I don't think we have that 100% ready yet at this point, right? Or
Well, I
do we-
have, I did
Oh, you
print
did?
out
Awesome.
this is not super official
That's fine.
because,
We're right at the start. I just wanted to
we're-
get us in the mode of doing.
right, we're like only a couple weeks out removed from the events.
Yeah.
So credit card charges and everything haven't been, those won't be reflected on any budget breakdown right now. But as you can see, if we can go through it together,
Mhm.
the marketing fund, the 10,000 wiping out from local intel and everything else. So this was promotion for the boot camp. Everything came in under because of selling out, having to pause, the Laker giving us a way better rate for the advertisement. I think it was to the tune of like $100. Everything sort of, I mean, you can see we've got $600 left over. Again, these aren't like bad. It's not bad to be left over with money. Like some committees really try hard to like go to zero, like illogically, I'll say. So having leftover money is not end of the world. The chamber line item, which is that MLCH, that's a Greater Miami Chamber
Mhm.
membership. That's kind of always zero out as well. The networking event, those are the actuals that have hit. And I've included Capping Me Controller because it's good to have reference for that. We still don't have, as you can see, that's not 4 complete networking events. So I'm gonna have to backtrack and see where the missing invoices are, but that's essentially zeroed out for all the networking events. And then what were the boot camp cost from the seminars, the goodie bags, the raffle cards. Another one where we came in under because we had left. So the committee said $50 per restaurant to the bike tour. What happened was some that participated last year that had leftover gift cards, we didn't repurchase. So I can't remember exactly, but we got 7 out of the 11. Domenico's gave us the $50 value, only charged us 25. So another instance where we're like going under, which is like, we can't thank them enough for that. I know they had a great time at the bike tour, so I'm hopeful that it wasn't just good favor that went to waste. Like I think it was a really good event. But another one of those things where it just, took away from the price. AGM, janitorial, IT, and security, those went out too, so that's where you can kind of see the event costs.
Did, those AGM expenses were not gonna be covered by,
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. So we can think of Memorial came in at 350. So what we can really say is that remaining would have been 770. Because it came in at 350, which is actually more than the event
Cost.
the fees specifically cost. It kind of, I don't know, we can subsidize some of the raffle gift cards. Like it was a really good break for us. I think Memorial, they didn't have a table, which I guess we'll get into during the event talk, but I mean, in terms of dollars budget, like it was pretty.
Yeah. No, our problem is that we have too many sponsors and people.
I know.
So this is what the issue is.
Well, we
For our
don't want
budget, I guess. It's not an issue, but
we never want to be
Yeah.
too unpleased with how many.
no,
we
of
get
course not. Very thankful.
like some committees don't end up doing a lot. They don't do a lot of outreach. Breakfast was covered. Because of our involved, like we had a really good financial year, so little things to consider. Again, this is not like a super duper official budget. This is me on a spreadsheet
Mhm.
doing my, limits and such, but
Gotcha.
that should be a good idea of where we start off. Because it just restarts again.
Just to double check so we're sure on this, when it comes to local intel, when was it again that we could change that up?
I want to say that it was like towards June. I have to.
Okay, cool.
But is June when we need to notify them that we would like to
Yeah,
terminate the
Clarissa and I
contract, or
Clarissa and I are still looking at
the terms
like
of
the get out
okay.
stuff.
So I just looked up
In-
the minutes, local intel, the renewal is July or August.
Okay, yeah.
So June is a good marker because we'll be ahead of it.
Cool.
I think it's closer to July, but I think being ahead of it anyway is gonna be important.
Yeah, I'll
If we
start
still don't see it
putting
work.
Start harping on it and closer to like close to May. If it's if I'm the chair of it.
and then these already is closed, right? So those funds we were not able to use, correct?
It's closed. It's not like the most concrete close ever, like as far as normal day-to-day activities are concerned, yes. But for example, like you'll see the networking event, we only have BBs and cafe taken out of that account, even though we know we've had more than that. I guess it's because again, we haven't had the invoices, which in theory, like the fiscal year's over. But if we get an invoice dated to the event, finance can always reconcile the budget, say, hey, that money from last year's budget takes care of that networking event. You know what I mean?
Whose invoice are we missing?
I have to go back. I still,
Yeah, I mean, just shoot me a text, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
I
yeah.
can go after those people and try to get them.
because
Sometimes it's hard to do it, yeah.
Things that we did in,
BB's?
no.
Abuse is there.
The-
The
Pimiento maybe? Yeah,
La
that was pimiento.
Pimiento.
We didn't do vanilla espresso, that's why, but they,
Oh, it's true.
yeah, so it would be
Pimiento.
pimiento, but I know they got a little bit extra, there was like extra allocated for that because of that, because it was gonna be 2 originally, remember?
Yeah.
I think it was like 100 extra each.
Yeah, for
So
something
they got-
like that, if they give us an invoice dated to last year, which is when they gave us the goods and services, which that's really what finance cares about. Then it'll be good. But like, we didn't use, for example, $100 last year. Can we buy $100 worth of XYZ now?
Yeah.
No, like,
Yeah, that's fine.
But the thought is that at some point, we're gonna have to give them that money. They're still expecting that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we don't, I mean, ideally, we don't wanna have to even to next year's when we already.
No,
have-
yeah.
it wouldn't, like, especially like, we're a 2-minute walk from finance. That's not something that they would ever do to us.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, if you can just give me a list of the restaurants again, I can attack them again.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually when we tell them that time, Well, when we saw it with Vitrola, usually they're like, sure, you got it, and then a week passes, and then, you
Nothing.
know.
And then it's like
it
the
just
night before the
falls-
event.
Yeah, and then it just falls to whatever, and they're like, no worries, whatever, and it's like, don't you guys wanna get paid?
Right.
But, I guess not. But,
Yeah, so I think we have, so we've fallen into a new situation where our company still hasn't fixed their invoice for our reindeer run event, which is like 2 months ago.
yeah,
So
so that's why sometimes things get a little,
But that's like little
Bureaucratic,
follow-ups,
I guess.
and you guys gave yourself the headroom anyways, so. Like, once we have it, it's really, it's already accounted for.
Okay, so I'm sorry, can you clarify the BBs, the 500 missing for BBs is what?
No, that is we already cut the check to them.
Oh,
That
okay,
is,
got
that
it.
is the allocation that went.
That's
Okay.
already,
For the-
Okay, great.
It's already been like-
yeah, so technically, in the networking, there should probably just be a little bit left over because of what happened with,
Yeah.
the vanilla espresso thing falling through, so there probably should just be a tiny bit left over in that one. Alright, cool.
but everything else that it was not consumed, we lose, right? Like, we will not be able to use it or
Right.
put it like
Right.
towards the new budget or stuff,
Mhm.
right?
Doesn't roll over.
In that sense, yeah.
Okay.
Like stuff that you already voted for,
Okay,
even though it hasn't been charged yet, it's already been allocated, I guess, in that sense. We
Okay.
got the business services, but yeah. You lose the rest. I mean, you could. They always tell us like you guys can go to council and ask for whatever, like in theory, but
I gotcha. But alright.
again, it's not bad to like. to lose the money.
okay.
No, we just didn't need it.
Well, that's the only issue you have.
Overachieve with
Well,
the.
when they approve your budget the next time, if you didn't.
Right,
if
if
you're not
you
gonna
didn't
get
need
back.
it, they're not gonna give it to you again.
I know, yeah, but, I mean, if we don't need it, we don't need it.
What are we talking about though specifically?
Just
No,
leave
in
that as
general,
a
Money in
figure.
general.
in general, right? Like if I see here with, you know, with. In here, it's like 2,000, more than $2,000 that we could have spent on doing other things to
Mhm.
improve the economies of, you know, different places.
I agree.
Which is why we had said that we wanna see this more often, so that way we can make
Yeah.
sure that we're not at this.
Proactive on that, try to figure it out. Because I think there is a bunch of ways we can, you know, help improve the businesses of other places, in many ways. We just have to kind of have a plan for it, you know, and if we know with how much we can probably structure something, you know?
No.
I think the biggest wiggle room.
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
You wanna do a public comment?
Have you started yet?
Oh, no, you're regular council
No,
member
I'm-
report.
Well, I'm doing my CSC
Yeah.
semi-quantum, but I didn't know that you had the meeting today.
Did you wanna report?
Well, real quick, I spoke with
But let's just do it the right way. But if we wanna reopen public comments. that's
I move to
fine.
reopen public
Second
comment.
the motion.
All in favor?
just a
Cool.
minute. We met with the merchants and we didn't get to discuss our Main Street Live. But, hopefully we'll have another meeting, so. I've been sending, Andrea, the list of, potential, let me ask you real quick, for the Festival of Light, do you already have the bands?
We have schools, we have the
Oh,
schools.
because there was this gentleman that wanted to put minutes, I think, we can, starting with the. Okay.
Yeah, but there's potential for the Saturdays or the weekends after.
Yeah, I have something, and I don't mind if I show it to you real quick. I put it together. And it's, I still need to make sure that what dates you guys are picking, you already saw it. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries.
It's very quick, I mean, I enjoy doing this one, but I need the information on what to put the final one. You can see it.
Social media ad.
Yeah,
I like it.
and we can do it like a poster.
Yeah.
But what I need is to figure out, the dates, the day, the time, and who are gonna be the participants. But what I'll do is have print one, solid one, and email it to you guys so you can approve it and,
Awesome.
but this is the idea was, promoting it, so.
Cool. Thanks for that.
I was looking forward to showing it to you guys. So.
No, I love it.
Okay. I gotta run.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like
Have a good day.
All right.
Jonathan.
It's just Salazar.
Alicia, I knew it was good enough. Alicia was,
Salazar.
and she's cultural affairs, right?
Yeah, the chair of Cultural Affairs.
All right, back to the budget. So that's where we are for now, is what you're saying, that's where we're at. All right, and now for the fiscal year 25, we've got the numbers here again. We know local intel is happening already, right, for this next year? That's something that we can change, right?
I think,
Already-
that was the prepay of the contract. So it won't be that full 10,000 actually.
Oh, it won't be?
I have to refresh myself with that split.
They got paid a few times.
Yeah, it would have been like 33.
Did we look at that contract?
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
talked about, yeah, we're gonna try to do it around,
No, but did we look at it for the specifics, regarding notice?
On notices, no, Curtis on there still. Cause we're talking to them
We want
about,
to give just, 90 days or 120. I'm sure we don't miss that window.
on
Yeah.
top of the windows, we've been looking at, if we're stuck with it. Like a favorite way to put it, but what modules can be added right now for utility, getting the reports, because when we have the new website, I want to say that there was an uptick in visits, but I can't remember exactly what the report looked like. So yeah, on top of like dates, deadlines, must, express intent to end the relationship, like whatever those dates are, we're looking on that on top of like whatever we can add or utilize in the meantime.
Would it be out of the question to get a copy of the service contract so we can review it maybe at the next meeting? Take something off of Clarisa's plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, cause that's something that if we get $10,000 freed up, and that gives us a lot of space to,
Right.
do
No,
a
that
lot,
almost goes to like,
do marketing, and we can do a lot of things, like, we can
We
get.
could hire a social media manager for
Literally, we
the
could,
street.
at that level, we could,
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah, that's why it gives us a lot more to play with than just what was it gonna end up being, we had like 1,500 or something left with everything added.
Do you need a motion for that, to get the contract?
Well, I just don't think we're there yet, right? Like to officially end it, I think.
well, just for,
Well, just so we can review it so that we're prepared,
for
I
review,
mean,
I
I need a
don't,
motion for that,
I would-
right? I'll just put it on the agenda and bring it.
right?
Yeah, I think we just bring it and we motion if we're gonna, like, do something with it, right?
yeah, I think, yeah, bringing the contract wouldn't be a.
Yeah, just if we decide to do anything with it, at least.
Yeah, then we'll
prepared.
motion on it there, yeah. But I think bringing it and taking a look at it ourselves is a good idea. And like Romy said, it frees up some time for
That's
everybody.
like, 10 grand is like grant money.
I mean, yeah, that's why, that's a lot. That's like enough that we could really make a difference,
Yes.
like we can make a big impact with that. And if like and if anything, if we can, Jonathan too, we can do one of those old analytics reports that we used to do for local
Yeah.
intel. If we can bring one of those too, just to give it one last look to see how it's doing with the new website and everything, just to give it the final, see what the traffic is. Because let's say, for somehow it's 10,000 people now, but I don't think so. I really doubt it, but we'll see. Last time it was like, wasn't it like 70 or 80 people, something like that? It was like minuscule numbers for it being. But all right, I think that's enough for that kind of stuff. Does anybody have any other comments on the budget or anything like that? I'm gonna include this, like I said, for every single agenda now coming up, this discussion on the budget, so we can like sit down and talk about this and see where we're at.
One more question on
What's
budget.
up?
Just so to understand, right now we have the new budget, so all the funds are available again to use,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
And then I guess in the next meetings, we kind of decide how to utilize it and how to make it.
Within the parameters that we've already set. So we already have, I think it's $3,000 set up next time for networking events, right? So we can only use of, like, for networking events, that 3,000. We've got seminars is 2,000, so that includes the business boot camp. And maybe even a second one, now that we had 700 overflow, you know, because we got so many sponsors and stuff for the boot camp. Maybe we have enough
Yeah.
to try a second seminar in the year, you know? There's that, and then when it comes to marketing, which is like, you know, the general stuff that we can kind of do to help, that's where we have, well, I mean, we don't really know exactly, but it's 12,000 minus whatever local intel is.
Right, I was gonna say it's gonna be at least $10,000 or at least $2,000.
Yeah, at least
Assuming-
2,000,
assuming
but
local
maybe a
intel
little bit
number.
more, 2 to 5K or whatever. And then that marketing budget that's really the one that we can kind of mess with to like do outside things with the businesses and all that. The other ones are kind of locked in for networking events and seminars, educational seminars.
And also, based that we are kind of, in the new year, let's call it.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we kind of plan everything that we wanted to do?
Mhm.
Like, for example, you know, that seminar that we did, but what else we're going to do to improve the economy? Of,
Yeah.
you know, of the whole thing, and figure out what are the things that have worked in the past, what are the, you know, you guys have more experience on different things that they have done.
I have a quick question regarding the quarterly networking events that we do. We usually allocate what, 300, 350 to each quarterly networking event?
It was 5.
It was 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think it was 350 because we split it between Espresso and Pimiento, remember? That it was equal, I think, to 700 total or something like that. That's why it was, that's why that's the thing that's most fresh in our mind.
that's why I'm just confused, because if we had $1,500 left over, where's the reflection, like the,
No, we don't. He just hasn't done that
So,
part. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he just hasn't done like those
Okay.
ones in there. That
Okay.
should be other ones.
Like what we know is gone is 1,000 from Cafe, 500 from BB's, like those are already
Yeah.
left the account.
Right.
The rest is like unpaid invoice or like unreceived invoices.
so
from
every
other-
single restaurant that we had a quarterly event at has not submitted invoicing?
Mm.
That's
I guess not.
ridiculous. Okay. Well, because people don't want to get paid. Okay, cool. Awesome.
And
So
exactly.
like, if, and I think what Carlos is getting at is if right now you want to say, okay, $1,000 for the next post boot camp networker and then 500 for the regularly scheduled, that zeros it out.
Correct,
Or
yeah.
whatever.
No, that's
No,
why
I
I
was
was.
just trying to
He-
plan.
Whatever,
Yeah, in
No,
general.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way to do
That's what it
things.
was last
That's why,
year.
yeah.
Like,
What it was
we
last
already know what.
Yeah,
that's
we're
kinda
gonna have one
gonna
this
do.
month,
I mean,
this one, this
I
month.
think
I can
what's
set that up
important,
for.
I think what's the biggest takeaway from the budget is that from the marketing budget, we only had left over $600. Right, which I think is a pretty good use of the
Yeah.
budget, you know? We only had remaining
And-
$600,
Yeah,
right?
and again, that's because
Yeah,
the
but
Laker
that's
came in
because-
And
cheaper.
right, and that's because a few
The
things came in
ad
cheaper.
paused because we were sold out.
Right,
Like, these are
right.
things that we did plan for, but it came under.
Well, like, for
that's good.
example, and we'll address this in the boot camp, like, for sure, the one negative of the boot camp was we got marketing out way later than it should have. And we could have used up those ads, you know, the networking line item, that's accounted for, we just haven't paid it because people haven't invoiced
Yeah.
us. You know, the really where we had leftover money was the $700
We got
and
so many
right, and
sponsorships.
because we got
Like that.
sponsorships, which, you know,
Yeah.
pero assuming that things stay status quo, we're making really good use of the budget for next year, you know? The question is, how much can we get rid of the local intel so that we know what we have left over? That's it.
Correct,
Yeah.
and in what what I was trying to see is, how can we utilize the funds that benefit more the economy of the business?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to figure it out, you know? Like, for example, right, just to say, we have the banners that we do for the ABC and stuff like that. Do we really need it? Do we already have it? But we already have it per se,
Right.
right? So next year we have $420 that we can
Extra, yeah.
think
what
about
you're
to
saying.
create something, you know? Stuff like that. Like, I agree 100%, and I think we're gonna go to the next conversation regarding the seminar, and I think that the event was great, the information that it was giving and everything. I just wish a lot of more people were able to
Yeah, I
take
agree.
advantage of it, right? Even myself, I was like, how I couldn't invite my sister, I couldn't invite this person, this other small business that could have taken advantage of this. So I think it's the only thing that we probably, besides the place and stuff like that,
Yeah.
to improve. And it's probably investing more in marketing, so people know exactly what we're trying to give to the community, which I think is great. I think that the information that was given, the way that it was given, it was very beneficial for a lot of us.
I agree.
And it's just, that's what my intake on the budget is, try to figure it out, how can we make more impact? That's it. Likewise, I'm not gonna like it.
No, but I agree. I think
Yeah.
that any way that we can try to not just like check items that are like normal routine for us, but maybe think out of the box and out of things that we haven't done
Hmm.
so that we can reach more.
Exactly, like we started last year, the seminar, which the last one was a success, this one was also a success, and I think we're impacting, right? Impacting the restaurant that is getting the network, the gift cards. I think it is impact that gives a little bit of impact to everybody, right? So I think we can do more things, not necessarily like that, but like you think, out of the box.
So it's an augment the event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just do more. What I'm gonna do is I'll try to include somewhere on the future agendas, like because what this really needs is like a brainstorming session. That's
Yeah.
really what it is. We kind of need to
Mhm.
just throw stuff on the wall and see what sticks and then, mess around with it and play with it and go, that's gonna be a cool idea. Kind of like we did that day with the boot camp, just that Steve had that whole idea in mind because he had done it previously,
Mhm.
but we were tossing things out until that's kind of we said, oh, that's a great idea.
Well,
So we just gotta do
I
that.
think what could be done is you start up the subcommittee early.
A subcommittee for that, I guess,
Yeah.
like,
Um,
it's just that the subcommittees don't really get as much attendance as something like this. That's why I want to be able to, I think we can do one as well, but I'm still gonna include it somewhere in the agenda, just like,
Yeah.
nothing crazy. It'll be on one of the times that we don't have a BTR list that's this big or something like that in the boot camp to discuss, like January, February is probably a good time to do this. When there's,
Maybe even
not
next
much, or
meeting.
even next one. Yeah, that's true. Next one is November one, right? So before holidays at the end of the year, that's probably a good one too.
I think if everybody from now to then can just put some thought to that
Yeah.
and then maybe come up with some ideas that we can just say out loud and see what everybody.
Yeah, see what happens. Cool. I like that. So I'm gonna put that for the next one. I'll have a little brainstorming session. And like I said too, I'm also gonna put on pretty much every meeting this budget, so we can go over to make sure we're up to date with everything. And then for that January, February meeting, then we could discuss actual like laying out a calendar, doing all the networking events beforehand instead of the month of like, oh, which one are we doing next month, or we're gonna do it. Just to make things a little bit more set up. Cool.
Did you guys wanna, we're here to hear or speak or?
Well, I spoke to Manny, he said last week, and he told me to come today. I was talking to him about some. I wanted to offer the town, the vendors, some of the safety gear that I have. Especially now for the month of October that I have all the pink gear. So I was talking to him about that and he thought it was a good idea. So he asked me to come today so that I can talk to him and kind of, see if I can kind of work that out somehow, that I can maybe speak to the vendors that you guys use as far as landscapers and stuff like that to get them in the pink stuff.
I think that's big town.
you mean more like
That's the
council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think the council meeting is on the other room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did it
just
start
told
on?
me, walk in there, Matthew's there, Romy's there, Andrew's there, just walk in there. No,
Like,
wrong
okay.
meeting.
It's already the council meeting?
It's
I don't know.
Yeah, he told me six,
Oh, okay,
six
okay.
20, something like that.
Okay. That's fine. You guys can hang out here.
So yeah, so it's down the hall.
Oh, it's down the hall.
Yeah,
It's down the hall.
it's the main room there over there, but it's
Yes.
fine. It's the same,
Yeah.
similar thing.
Well, I don't wanna leave in the middle of you guys talking, so I'm gonna walk.
It's down the hall, it's like the big
The big-
chamber, the main chamber, yeah.
Alright.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I don't know, Tico's just like.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, just
Shut
go,
up,
you'll see
figure
Rosie,
it out.
it's bad.
It was okay in the beginning, and I'm like.
Oh, the heat, yeah, he's no AC.
They do that.
But all right. So we're good on the budget? Is
Yeah,
everyone content for now? We'll discuss it again as we go on, but I think that's it for now. All right, cool. So when we're gonna move on to old business, I kind of want to do this BTR list last, just to kind of go through this at the end, and so we don't get distracted with this gigantic list. It's a lot. Yeah, so I'm gonna go just real quick to the boot camp feedback. I know we kind of started on it, but Does anybody have anything specific they want to bring up? Romy, I think did a great job helming the whole thing and it turned out great. Like Carlos said, the only thing in my opinion that I agree was that I wish we could have done better was on attendance.
Attendance,
That was the only
yeah.
thing. But I actually thought it was awesome. The venue, yes, it was kind of small, but it didn't bother me that much.
The
at the end
venue
of the
wasn't
day.
as bad as like I
Yeah,
think we
it
initially
bothered me
thought.
that much.
Yeah, I think initially Carlos and I were like, oh, this venue is gonna stink. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it didn't bother me.
It worked. I personally would not like to return to that venue again,
Yeah, that's
especially if we do a much better job of advertising
Yeah, I
and
think it did
and
better since it
timeline.
was smaller amount.
Correct, it
kinda
worked in our
looked
favor
okay,
because
yeah.
attendance was
Yeah.
small, but, well, and actually, let me say this, like, attendance compared to last year, it really wasn't that much of a difference.
Yeah.
I think it was a difference of
No,
maybe
more.
15 participants,
More.
like,
Was
I,
it more or less?
I think it was a difference of maybe 10 or 12-ish participants less.
Okay.
But it really wasn't that different, which just goes to show how poorly spaced the chamber is. Because like the, you know, like
It looked
the
bad.
town chamber makes it made it look like it was so much more full, but we only had like 10 or 12 participants more than what we had at Energy Mendez. So that being said, we're still on the hunt for a venue. If anybody knows someone that wants to invest in an auditorium in the town of Miami Lakes, like please refer. So I didn't get to go to Steve's going away party, but does anybody know about the famous Bank United like auditorium that supposedly they have?
To see it in there now.
No. It-
Everything over there is beautiful.
Do they
I
really,
mean-
do they really have an auditorium,
Yeah.
like with like stadium seating style, like
I mean,
college?
that's what I've been told. I've
Oh, but
only
we don't
been there
know.
past
No,
couple
we've
years.
yet to
It's the
witness
auditorium.
this
I-
mythical
I-
auditorium.
My family that's been in.
Gotta sneak
Okay.
That's what they told me.
Okay, I mean, if we start planning this boot camp like con tiempo, I wanna like reserve that first. Like that's like the
Yes.
first thing we need to reserve because I'm still like on the hunt for a good venue. I thought, with the exception of one particular speaker, which if you were there, I think we all know who it is. I thought all of the speakers and the content were excellent. I think that was a significant improvement from
No,
last year, from the
definitely,
first time.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I
Much
think.
more engaging.
Yes, it was a lot more engaging. I think it was a lot better quality information.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna jump in really quickly on that because some of the feedback we got on social media was like very particular. Like it wasn't, a Colorado Bike Tour highlight where everyone's like screaming happy ha. It's people that were saying like this was really valuable information. Like I really appreciated it. I remember one of them was
Where do people comment that stuff?
I think it was on the Instagram. I have to double check.
I
A
need to
woman
know.
and her husband, this photo, I believe.
Yeah,
nice.
She
She
was
was
on-
very,
she was only able to stay for
I think the first
actually
one.
only your part.
Okay.
And she had an appointment. She's like, I wanted to come back because
Mm-hmm.
she said that the information was very valuable.
Yeah, so to the speaker's
Good to
point,
hear.
I think it was really good. Like, I was there. So
Yeah, I was paying attention to your presentation for no reason.
Not,
we were learning about returning. But in terms of the quality, I don't know who may have not been so good that you were referring to.
I think you.
I think
can-
we know. It was Carlos's panel.
Yeah.
That he moderated. Yeah. There was one particular contributor
some-
that it was kind of like derailed from the conversation and like went on a total tangent and like
And we
missed-
lost time on.
and missed the
like,
audience.
questions.
Yeah, right. And because of that, we couldn't go and have a proper Q&A at the end,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think the rest of it, and shout out to Jessica for jumping in last minute because we had a speaker who had a death in the family on the banking
Yeah.
panel and wasn't able to make it, and Jessica came and that was fantastic. So I thought the content was great. I think we all agree the venue wasn't terrible, but we want to continue to improve on it. I thought the food, aspect, the breakfast
I thought it was
was
great.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The presents, like
Mhm.
the layout was great. I thought what Vitrola offered was excellent as well. The downside with Vitrola was that we couldn't get the space. The space was like kind of a downer. And we couldn't get a microphone working in there, so it was hard to, there was like, even though, when we spoke to,
We didn't
Um,
want to mess too much because they kind of let us, okay, play with it, but don't touch it. And it was kind of difficult. We could have figured it out, but we didn't want to invest too much on it because
right.
we,
You didn't want to play.
it,
Right.
we probably were going to screw it up for somebody at
Right.
night. And
We need water next time.
That's true. We do need water
Oh,
bottles.
true.
Next time, nobody thought about that. We need a water sponsor.
the other thing is like for reserve or plan questions and answers, maybe for each panelist and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
5 minutes.
You know what's
On the
something that we can
timing?
do that I've seen
Because
recently?
everybody wanted to ask.
Yeah,
questions,
is,
you know?
I've seen, I saw it like at a virtual presentation and I need to find out what app it is, but I think there's a free version of it. Is, people can submit questions like, to, you know, like
Yeah.
via
Live.
like,
Like
live, yes.
Yeah.
And they can submit them on their phone. So like if you're listening and you want, and then the moderator just whips up their laptop and, you know, oh, you have all these questions right here and you can call out questions randomly. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a virtual
That-
queue for
that is
questions.
just because I think people will, when you ask, you know, you get more information and you can kind of do that. In sense of what we presented, I think that could have helped more be, you know, more proactive or engaging to the consumer, you know?
Yeah, like I'm not a small business owner, but I feel like the information that's shared there is so valuable. And so many small business owners
And people-
don't get this in their hand like that. And then it's unfortunate that
they will-
they don't know about this. They don't, and yeah, I think.
And people, they want to open a business, it would have been great, you know? It would have been greater information. I had a friend that he was actually opening a business and I didn't thought about it, you know? After I saw the whole, maybe we didn't even realize it, how good it was going to
You're
be
like,
the
wow, this is actually pretty
information,
good.
right?
But it
It
has
was
to be
like,
one of those
okay,
things, like, if you wanna open a business, come here, or
Yes.
if you wanna learn how to grow your business, like, it has to be those catchy things that makes people find a reason to be there. Cause if it's just information, I don't know,
yeah.
people
no,
might
sure.
think that's something
It's true,
different than what it really is.
Yeah, it's true.
Is there a way, like during the year when we have our networking events, like when people register to like kind of tap in like a little survey to see like what are the things they're interested in with the town? So that way, like when we do the boot camp, like one, we're hitting more topics that people are
People are
interested in,
interested in,
you know?
yeah.
And then also having a, then you would have also a targeted email audience saying, hey,
That's cool.
you are interested in this,
Yeah.
you know, come to this.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, it could be, I don't know if there's something in particular, but it could be something as simple as a Google form.
Yeah.
You know, we have a Google
Rights for
form.
those different.
We have a Google form, we have a QR code and we take it with us and people scan it and submit something right there at the event. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And stuff like that, just think to kind of market it better. So, because I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I think
I think if we, like Matthew said, I think if we, you know, already have a brainstorming session for it next meeting and we already pick a day and, you know, 2 months from now, we already have a reservation for the venue.
Yeah, it's a big
I mean,
step.
there's nothing stopping us from every event, you know, and that could be our
Sure,
thing,
yeah.
you know? Yeah.
But
Oh,
the
that's good.
brainstorming session for next, the brainstorming for next session isn't that, it was. to
Well,
bring
it's just
more
gonna be
ideas.
what we can do in
Yeah.
general for the, that can help the economy, but I mean, whatever, that's gonna be. I think it's gonna fall into place, that's why, it's maybe gonna be that, but yeah, that's gonna be something.
I think it's an item within itself, but I think like, I think we should start, you know, outlining it and brainstorming about that on its own, because I mean, as wonderful as the content here was, we can't just deliver the same thing year over year. It has to change, you know? So we need to come up with a theme. We need to, you know, think about what else we're gonna talk about, what other speakers we're
Yeah.
gonna highlight. Yeah.
Do we usually have a December meeting, Jonathan, do you know, or is that get,
We usually cancel that
that
one.
one usually gets canceled, right?
Yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, that's up to the committee.
No, but it probably will be, that's, I was just curious, if it happens year by year, because the same thing happens with the chamber.
This is the third Tuesday.
But, all right, cool. Yeah, so on the next one, I'll make it brainstorming on the general economy, like we were talking about, stuff we could do.
The 17th. The 17th.
Yeah, but there's gonna be mainstays on these agendas from now on, just kind of remind us things, like the budget. Reviewing the budget more in depth is gonna be a mainstay, and I'll have the boot camp as well as a mainstay.
I think
We
so.
talk about it every
That's good.
time.
I think that's gonna be our
Yeah,
flagship
we've
event.
mentioned,
Yeah.
What I wanted to say was, I think. Yeah, absent of maybe us getting the word out a little later than we would have liked. I think there is, for any event, discussion on what like a natural capacity is. And it kind of stayed the same, even in spite of having less.
Hmm.
That's where when I hear you talk about like a theme for the next year, or we can't just talk about HR social media loads again.
Right, it has to
Maybe
be
next
different.
year is like, I don't
No,
know.
from a marketing budget, I mean, we have obviously a lot of, can we just send out like invitations, personalized to the business? Like through a mailing list
For what?
for the next event,
So like business,
to get more people to come.
just like all businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all these list of stuff like that,
We
a
welcome you to attend. this
free
event that we're
event
putting on.
or, stuff
Like
like that.
Yeah.
If their
come learn.
BTR
Versus having people
renewal is
find out on their
next
own, you
year,
just.
Yeah, we can do some print marketing too, basically. is what-
Like
Almost like a save the date or something.
Yeah,
like if the BTR was
RSVP,
renewed or
so
whatever.
And
Yeah.
at least now they have
Last year,
something where
and,
okay,
you
you're
know.
being invited
I mean,
versus.
I mean,
Oh,
when
I
I
think that's a great idea because
Yeah,
we'll
we've got
have all the
for
businesses,
like on
right?
ads, but obviously very, very little,
Yeah.
Clearly, if we're able to get out of the local info
maybe like a
contract,
save the date early.
and
That's
then-
cool. I like that. I save the date.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and this is just like to understand, for Best of Miami Lakes. The committee, who handles Best of Miami Lakes?
It's
The
supposed to be
internal?
us, I think, because people were asking me questions,
Yeah.
so I was very confused. Everybody
I know
was-
Adrian knows the history,
Yeah, the
yeah.
maker
I
reached out to
hijacked
me, I was like,
who hijacked Best of Miami Lakes.
I don't know.
We don't know.
It's kind of like an admin thing. It's like.
How do we not know?
It's just, now it just lives on its own. It just kind of. Yeah.
That's messed up. I motion to hijack back Best of Miami Lakes to the economic development. Look, she's
I think-
physically upset.
I
This
think
is-
that it was a good idea, like, and we used to get everyone involved and the businesses were like competing with each other and like.
Yeah.
I think it just went out administrative.
Jonathan, we demand to hijack back Best of Miami Lakes.
Well, the
That's not
finalist
cool.
round opens up in like 2 weeks.
Be like,
It
we
would
don't
be for the
even
next
know.
meeting.
No, look at you. I don't think I've ever seen Andrea get this riled up over anything.
It's just like,
Who's mine?
Listen.
because it lost, I feel for the businesses, it lost some of the pizzazz and the whole point was to get the local community
know,
involved
yeah.
and it, not even just like residents, like businesses to like
Yeah.
shout out their favorite lunch spots, happy hours,
I
you
can
know,
tell
like.
you 100%. I think I've been on the EDC for what, 3 or 4 years, and the first year I was on EDC, it was a huge deal, and every year it's like faded into the background.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares about it anymore.
Yeah.
But it was
So
a big
100%.
deal.
Yeah.
I think it, so
It would be announced via
I
video.
don't know
it
what
was-
it was. hijacked.
Oh, I feel
No
like it's.
idea.
probably.
When I started here, I don't even remember it.
Yeah, I mean,
It was big
remember.
for many years.
Okay.
I don't know, COVID kind of like makes you forget things. Like, you know, those years,
Yeah.
because there was so much that
Yeah.
didn't
It
happen.
was like the last time it really happened was like pre-COVID.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
I think probably that, but also probably since this event now is at the end of September, short Best of usually opens up.
Well, but that's the point is I'm just wondering that like the reason why I brought that up, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like tug on an emotional cord here, but the reason why I brought it up is because I would love to know how whomever handles Best of Miami Lakes pushes that out. What list are they using? How are they communicating to people to vote and whatever? Because I feel like we could borrow that same system and especially to send save the dates to those businesses.
Yeah.
And because if you're voting, like, or if you're submitting, you're interested in Miami Lakes business, community. So I think that would be a really great target audience. That's the only reason I brought it up. And I mean, the boot camp would be a fantastic spot to continue to highlight, hey, Best of Miami Lakes is coming up and, like get sponsors for it, all that good stuff. It goes hand in hand.
So in terms of like making
Maybe you can get the best of to have 5 minutes at the event.
Cool. That'd be super awesome. Yeah.
like a
We're
registry
allocating
of
to
people that
the
submitted.
price for them on our budget too.
Like,
Well,
so you need like a registry of people that have
It's
submitted
expensive, but yes.
like nominations for Best of Miami Lakes.
I'm sorry?
So when you say like utilizing those resources that we use to push
Yeah.
out Best of,
Yeah.
you mean like a registry of people that submitted nominations?
That's not who I was thinking of in particular. I'm thinking of the actual businesses
Sure.
and of the people that we engage to vote. Like when you guys send out Best of Miami Lakes is happening, go vote here. Here are the nominees. Who's getting that list?
Yeah, that is.
So,
No, he's talking about people who submit
no,
nominations.
yeah, I just wanted to
Which
make
ones
sure.
are voting?
That's not what I was saying. I was saying like voters, not nominators, yeah. But I mean,
We can target
all-
both.
one and the same.
So
Yeah.
so that went out,
Up to you.
I think at the end of September, for 2 weeks, it was social media, press release on our website, the Laker. Like the pretty usual slate of people that got it is what we push it out to. I don't know that there's an easy way to tap into like. Cause like right now I'm like digging through the finalists, like who's going to the finalist round. Somehow leveraging that to like a contact list for the book
How many do you get?
for like nominations, usually like 1,000 to 2,000.
That's a
I
good
mean, it's
amount.
people also like,
If you get.
Chill it, chill it,
1%,
chill it,
10%.
chill it.
But that's what I'm saying, those are votes.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah,
but there's no like identifier if that.
You don't collect it, you don't
No.
collect an email or anything? Oh, okay, then forget that,
Oh.
okay.
but I.
But
think-
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I think on this list and what he had mentioned, I think is a great idea.
Yeah, like
Because
for
all the
that-
businesses, all the businesses owners, whoever registered, whoever is stuff like that.
If we pulled businesses of the last 2 years, maybe instead of 1 year, like.
Yeah.
The contacts of people that have opened a business within the last 2 years, I think that's obviously like a very. Good, like, pool of people
Yeah.
that would be interested in, okay, now I'm at the growing point of like. Or I'm at the point where it's like growing pains of HR and finances and okay, now how can I up my social media and like that?
And with the budget, we can probably put it we were mentioning, like he was mentioning, I'm sorry. Regarding, okay, these are all the things that you're gonna learn, and let's say the home office, whoever the contact person is, that when I went to do some of these lists, I had the pleasure to speak with the owner of a, like a clinic, right? She was kind of like, okay, are you really from the city? Kind of,
Yeah,
are you really inviting me to do this? How much is gonna cost me? She asked. I'm like, it's not gonna cost you anything. So if you come with an invitation and stuff like that and explain to her, and we can probably share the list with all of us and go, I think it will create a lot of more people coming, and is our target audience. Is whoever we want them to learn more about this so they're more successful for the city.
Do we think the date and time is still good for people coming out? Like weekday at like 10 a.m.
We did Fridays at like
9:30.
9:30 is when registration opens. I think a Friday is still an ideal day. I'm open to reconsidering the month. I do think summer is slower, for sure. I think, like fall, early winter is when people are mostly checked in. I think June hits and June, July, August, September, it's kind of like a blur, I think people are more checked in October through early May. So
Why was it in September?
we chose to do it in September because September school is back in session, so people are back from summer.
Yeah.
And,
Basically what you just said.
and honestly, I think we chose that because when Steve brought up the first boot camp, it was like the latest we could do it within the fiscal budget.
Yeah,
That's the only reason why we picked September. I would be, like, I think we would do better if we did it in, the fall or the early winter.
okay.
I mean, the problem is that now that gives us less than a year to plan it, you know what I mean? Like, that's the problem, is that if we switch the date, any day that we switch it to, unless we push it back further, we're gonna go either less than a year before we have the next one, or over a year before we have the next one. That's the only problem with switching the date at this point. But I think we're still early enough that we can make that call.
How would that work with the budget? With all that?
So,
Like, if
I mean, we
set it up
have,
for the
we
next
do
fiscal
have a
year's
lot of
event.
similar events, like it's really just like. Like if we had to pay for something, we couldn't really do it until the fiscal year starts. But for this, it's kind
But
of,
are you saying winter now or? like-
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying any way we do it, it's gonna like mess things up, because if we do it,
Yeah.
like, let's say that we do it like, okay, we wanna do it in December now. Okay, that December's like not even 3 months away. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna plan a boot camp in 3 months, right?
then it would be
if we-
15 months.
Correct. And then if
Yeah.
we do it in December
Okay.
next year, it'll be 15 months away. So that's what I'm getting
So
at.
to answer your
Yeah.
question, yeah, that means the budget for this fiscal year does not get used for that.
Yeah, so
So then
it'd be
you're-
like,
Yeah.
Right, so we would.
Nothing happens in this
You'd
fiscal
it'd be pre-planning and, you know,
That's what I was wondering, like, if we pre-plan and get everything set up before, that still doesn't matter. It would be the next.
Right.
No,
Fiscal
I
year,
think for
yeah.
finance purposes, you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to charge
yeah.
it.
I
But
think-
you guys can always, not ideal, but you guys can always go to council and request that that they would consider it in the carryover funds to carry over your remaining balance the next year, but I don't know how that's gonna go, so I wouldn't count.
Gotcha.
I,
Unless you do one late summer, then.
That's what I was gonna say, unless we do
Yeah, I
it
think
now,
so.
like, let's say in April or May. And then we do one again next year, 2025, in
We
like
slowly start
December,
moving
you know
the
what I mean?
date.
We slowly start transitioning it. I don't know, to me, I think October would be like the best, October or like, right,
I
or.
think October is good.
Or February, I don't know, I feel like those are like the ideal times when people are like focused, you know? Like February is like new year, I
Yeah.
wanna improve my business, I wanna do everything different.
Yeah.
And then October is when everybody checks in and actually is working.
Yeah.
I see your point, you
Yeah.
know, it's just matter of how we're going to do it, because
Yeah,
I
already
think
get
kind of
it,
the
yeah.
thing, as, the only thing I can say is that it's also a slow time for the businesses, so they have more time to kind of go. And we did it that day because, you know, so people go to vacation, they're back and stuff like that. The only thing I see is the budget and the timing, that's the only problem.
I
see.
think that September works. I mean,
We can do it again in September and see how it goes with a proper rollout of marketing and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, that was my other point of feedback, and not, you know, to like throw Jonathan under the bus, but I think I think now it's like, we've learned this now a second time. I think we need to allow like 500 registrants, because if it's a free event, people register, they don't show up. I think we talked about this, and this is another point of conversation is, you know, we tugged with, do we keep it a free event, or do we
Yeah.
start charging even something minimal so that people actually show up? Cause we had like 200 registrants and, you know, like less than 50 people actually come. So, but I think that that's always gonna happen when registration is free.
yeah, so
We brought up that.
we talked about like the.
Yeah,
the
that's what
fee
we're talking about.
Where. Yeah, you kind of have to have like a.
I mean, even $1, just $1 even, you know, something.
I mean, we
Just
can
like
take we can take a vote on it. I'm of the opinion that because it's town
Yeah.
driven, I don't think we should charge, but what I think that we can't do is we can't limit the Eventbrite to 100 registrants.
Yeah,
Or
but what-
175, because then that slows the momentum of registration, which is what happens.
So where it
It
gets,
should just be uncapped.
right, where
Right.
it got muddy is just like, we tell Anna G. We expect like 80 to 100 people,
I know,
and so they base their pricing for security and their pricing for like. Like
We
it was
can
this
compete
weird,
in that.
the what?
At the end of the day,
What's
you
the-
have to like,
What's the phrase?
not let
Ask
people.
for forgiveness, not for permission.
Right, like that for.
well, but I mean, but I think we've seen now, we've done it for 2 years, back to back, same time frame. And let's be real, last year, we weren't ahead of the game that much more in marketing, maybe by like a couple of weeks, like not even a month. So we're kind of doing an apples to apples comparison now, year over year. So we've seen now that roughly 200 registrants, a quarter is what actually shows up. So realistically, if we do, you know, whatever, 400, then we're gonna get 100 to show. That's the math, you know?
I mean, to just, you know, avoid the issue of, you know, having, you know, all those register, like say we put the cap, let's say it's uncapped and 500 people register, which is over capacity, you know, to kind of like just have like a, you know, safety there just in case that situation happens. You know, we can always put a disclaimer saying, you know, uncapped up, you know, subject to, you know, available seats or space, you know, so arrive early, you know. You're not giving a guarantee that if they register, they can
Yeah.
attend. You know, it's more like as many places that supplies last, you know, space allows, you
Yeah,
know.
they're very
and just for
very
that.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like it.
You know, that way, you know, it covers us, you know, in that situation and we don't have to put a cap anymore. Like, I agree with Romy that, you know, putting that cap and not charging is definitely not helping at all.
Every
We're literally limiting the events. you
Right.
know?
it's like an artificial cap, yeah.
Yeah.
Every event that is free, that's like. All but one in this town. The Colonial Bike was the only one that's not. Free, everything kind of suffers from that same one, so if we. Yeah, if we, I mean, it's in lieu of like a nominal fee, doing a sort of open-ended, but like. The understanding that we can, we. will
We can
probably
turn people away,
away.
but
Yeah.
realistically, like, I don't think we will.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I
I
don't think so.
don't think we'll have
I
to.
think that does- I
Yeah.
think that's a-
That'd be a great problem.
Yeah,
That'd be a great problem. I agree.
I mean,
I totally
We
agree.
could invest in maybe live streaming it and stuff like that, if it ever gets to that point.
But it's
Yeah.
possible that
We'll
instead
worry
of,
about
that we can just
I think,
do like a, oh, sorry.
no, I'm sorry. Come here.
That we can just do like agree to do, for just one event as an experiment, that we change like the registration system.
Correct.
You know, we're not committing to being like, okay, it's gonna be how we do it from now on, just. We say, hey, for this one event, we're gonna try this out and just see how that goes, you know, just to get a feel for it, you know.
I agree.
But we need to try it.
Yeah.
You know, to change things.
Cool.
Another feedback that I just remember because you mentioned something is having either live or film so we can use the material.
Yeah.
Meaning people know when they wanted to see it, like for example, it was great information, we could share it and stuff like that, be open to the public. It creates on our YouTube channel or stuff like that. So I think the next one we should be able to kind of film it. So if anybody that missed it out can go and see it, because it was very good information that anybody can, relate it to.
Kind of like along those lines, maybe for that day, like hire someone like Vanessa to be like creating reels and posting like just for that event. Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that, and the whole event, so then it will be uploaded into the Miami Lakes website. So because not all other cities, and that's another feedback that we got from the people that went, is like, wow, the Miami Lakes city really cares about the people, So you show it online that everybody can see what we have done, and then people get more engaged.
Cool, I like it. All right, cool. I think we're good on boot camp feedback for now. Like I said, I'm gonna include this in the next agenda too, and all the ones in perpetuity, just so we can talk about it a little bit and move along every time we go through a meeting. All right, cool. So like I said, I'm gonna do the VTR this last. That'll be our goodbye gift for everybody. So just real quick, through the new business. I don't want to go on this super long because we kind of already touched on it, but the EDC promotional video, we played it at the event. I thought it looked pretty good actually once it was played there, like in front of people and all that. I was like, okay, it's actually, pretty decent
It
video.
was nice.
Yeah, so just to keep thinking about uses for it. I know we talked about the airport thing and the possibility of that kind of stuff. I haven't looked into that or found out how yet, but we now are working with the people of Sevilla, Spain to get an airline flight direct from Miami Lakes to there somehow. So
What?
yeah, I don't know. They put the chamber and tried to man through it on us. So we're working now potentially with the airport. I doubt anything will happen. But now we're gonna maybe talk to an airport.
Miami,
That can't be a.
I-
Civic
this-
Walk.
this-
That's
They
the
got
walk.
Tico written
It is-
all
yeah, it
over
is,
it.
it is.
My God.
So we'll see what happens, but that might be an in with the airport. I'm gonna use it for this. I'm gonna try to use it for this.
To
Yes,
Sevilla.
hey, yeah, because they came to visit.
It's
They
ridiculous.
sent it
The
they-
delegation from, there was a delegation from Sevilla that came to visit Miami Lakes.
Okay.
And then there's no direct flight from Sevilla to Miami, so now it's on the town of Miami Lakes to make that happen somehow.
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 But whatever, I'm gonna use it as an opportunity to potentially talk to an airport and see if we can maybe do something with our video. But other than that, maybe we can think about it in the future using it for social media and things like that. I don't know. If that's something we
You mean
wanna
like
mess
the
with.
actual advertising in the airport?
Or like the little video, like Manny said that back in the day, you would land and you would get a little video of Miami Lakes on the airport, on the airplane, like a little screen in
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
you. I don't know how, just for the little town, but.
At Miami International.
I mean, that
I don't
requires,
know. I don't know.
that will require.
But he told me he did it at one point, so I don't know. That's why
I
I
mean, I
was
think
gonna
we
try
need
to
to
figure out
make
in
as
some
much
way.
use of that video as possible.
Yeah,
It's a really
Yeah,
nice
it's pretty good,
video.
yeah, it's-
I don't know, I mean, if,
Chamber.
have we even, okay, like,
Yeah.
does anybody know, have we even used it on like the town of Miami Lakes Facebook page? Like the official one?
website.
No,
I mean,
we
I
haven't
know
posted it
John's
anywhere.
the content guy for that. I don't wanna
Yeah.
mess with his content,
It-
and he's got his calendar.
After the approval and then the like debut of the
Uh-huh.
boot camp, now it's like. This is where I was gonna go with like advertising dollars, like the perpetual ad that was talked about a while ago.
Yeah.
Like literal, like an ad that's just ongoing.
I agree.
That'll
Yeah.
occupy a feed, but. I guess that's kind of like a dollars and cents question of.
No.
I mean, I think we
like,
have
I think
dollars and
yes,
cents for that,
I
yeah.
think we absolutely need to do
And
that.
that fits within our like brainstorm ideas
Right,
like that
right.
we wanna do. So I'll put that here too.
And I'm
We do
just
have a lot of
curious,
stuff.
so we can close the book on this EDC promotional video.
Yeah.
Did we, I forget, because we went back and forth on this so much,
Oh, no,
but I know we were supposed to get like multiples, so like, are we getting?
no,
Like,
this is over.
this is it,
Yeah,
it's
we
just,
got the little sports preview. We got like he gave us like a little mini sports video, if
Okay.
you remember? And then that was basically it.
And that was
This is closed.
That is it,
It's
okay.
over.
alright.
If we want to do something new.
I
we
don't
do it
remember
new.
the sports one at all.
He gave us like something. It was like a little thing. I remember there was like a stock video of like people like
I'll send it back,
pointing and
but I
stuff.
think the invoice was modified too. of like-
Yeah, he changed
Oh,
it. That's
what
why
about
it was
that?
like a
Okay,
thing.
just
But whatever,
checking.
that's why let's not go back to that.
Yeah, I agree,
That's why we're good.
I agree.
What's up, Carlos?
Yeah, no, I was just getting his idea of advertising the video on Facebook or
Yeah.
marketplace and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
perpetual ads.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, yeah, I
yes,
got it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I'm putting all this
I
stuff
think-
down for the next meeting. Next meeting is gonna be very in-depth and what, how we can
And I'll be on,
go,
I'll be on Twitter and I'll
Forth and
scroll and I'll
multiply in the
just
next
pull
year.
this video and
which is nice. And that's probably our,
That's what it needs to be.
next one's probably our end of year meeting in all reality.
Agreed.
All right, cool. So I'll move on to the next thing, and this might not be a topic now anymore, but because now we might do an actual official yearly calendar. But it'll be the next business networking social, just to check what we're gonna do one this year, at the end for the rest of this year. I don't think so, right? Or are we? There's October, we have a decent amount of time. There's basically November.
I mean, we'd have to do it in November
Yeah.
or super early December.
Yeah.
Towards the end of November.
Is that something that we wanna mess with before the end of the year? Or do we wanna just start next year with a bunch?
Can I just ask before we like, fight over dates and things like
Go
that?
for
Does
it.
anyone have anything of location in mind? Is there a location that we haven't debuted? Is there one that, like, is there anything new? Or like a part of town that we haven't ventured into? Cause we did one most recently at Pimiento, which is here, 67, right? Before Pimiento, we went to, help me,
We haven't done much on the west side. I mean, except for Cafe Vitrola, but I don't, no.
we did Cancun a while ago.
Yeah, that
I
was.
was never the tenth outside.
Oh, that's right, yeah,
Yeah, the tenth.
That's right.
that's right.
Well,
Over
we
here,
just
let's
did,
look over
we
here.
just did Vitrola. You know which one, if we did one, I think would get packed? If we did one like to welcome back Latin American.
Oh, that's actually a cool idea.
That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
That's a really cool idea. Maybe
If
can
we
talk
did
to
one
them.
to welcome
Fill
back
up
Latin
parking lot.
America, I mean, like, we would overflow to the parking lot, 100, that one. I don't know if anybody knows the owners of Latin American,
We
because I
met
feel like we.
briefly when they moved back.
Because I feel like we would actually need to ask them to like, not shut down, they'd be operational, but like to corner off a section, and I think that would be a big ask, because they're
I-
packed every night.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should always, we should also.
Yeah, what's the
ask
best
them
night for
what's
them?
their slowest
Yeah,
night.
which is why we usually do this on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
It usually ends up being one
Yeah.
of those.
Right,
So we'll see.
I
That's a
think,
great idea.
I think
We can ask.
because Thanksgiving is, one second.
And if it's after hours, it could spill into the parking lot of the businesses, which is fine.
Yeah, which is.
You can-
Yeah,
Fine there.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
falls on, is it the 28th this year?
28th.
Yeah, so Thanksgiving is the 28th, so the last week of November is out. I would argue for the first week of December, like second, third, fourth, or fifth. So a Tuesday, Wednesday would be the second, December 3rd or 4th.
I think it's good.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Hopefully they're open to it. All right, cool. Yeah, so I'll ask for that. Awesome. Yeah, we'll ask around for that. And the next meeting, then we'll have that in mind, and then we can think about the calendar for how we'll do it for the rest of the year and think about it. Now that we have the start date, we can think about months in between
Yeah,
and
the
stuff like
quarter,
that.
the quarterly would
Cadence.
take it to May, June, September.
Okay.
Or
I mean, we can think about it.
March.
I don't remember when we set this up, we have it set up, we can do a little bit more than just quarterly, I'm pretty sure. Right, with the 3,000?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because quarterly would be what? It would be 2,000, wouldn't it be, right? If we're 500?
maybe 2,000 and
Yeah.
then for the 1,000 for the networking.
Came from,
Social
from
came
the boot
from-
camp. That's why, because boot camp
Gotcha.
eats 1,000 from that budget.
Okay, okay. All right, cool.
If-
We'll mess around
If
with
we
it.
don't get sponsors.
True. That's fine. We'll mess around with it. We'll think about it now at the next thing. All right, cool.
It's not Latin America, maybe what is it, the butcher?
Oh, that's right.
What place, what place, what
Right,
place?
the other one that just opened or La Trela was, it's the
Yes.
Butcher's Cuisine. It's actually really
Oh.
awesome.
Yeah,
I think I'm not gonna lie, Romy. I think it's really.
That's what you guys hosted. You guys said, yeah.
Huh? It's really nice. And Thank you. We go to
Where-
We were thinking about going to dinner.
Okay, I didn't even realize that someone knew that they're great.
It's nice, and it's like a fancy.
Where's
it's really
from,
small,
where
but
Einstein
It's
is.
very nice. It's
Okay,
Okay.
Einstein aquí está Einstein Bagels, aquí está el Chevron, in the same shopping center, it's in the corner of the Chevron.
It's very easy to miss.
Yeah.
Oh, they're right.
Yes, the more than I used to,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're not there.
They're not
It's
there.
outside. It's gonna be fine.
But
Yeah,
what
it's
about-
Butcher's Cuisine.
The butcher's cuisine.
Is it good?
I didn't even know.
It's very good, and the menu is very reminiscent of like the old Shula's, like the Shula Steakhouse one. It's like a lot of steakhouse, very nice sides like Brussels sprouts and things like that, like asparagus, mashed
Fancy.
potatoes. It's like
And they
nice
opened
kind
it for
of
lunch
place
and
like that. I'm not entirely sure. When we went with the delegation.
Yeah, I saw it on.
So we went with those people, and when we were there was people coming in to eat. We talked to the owner, and he's like a serial restaurateur. He's opened like 7 or 8 restaurants, and for him, he said, "Oh, I did this in 2 months. This was like not a big deal." And we're like, "Oh, do you have a soft opening or anything?" He's like, "Oh, not yet," but people were just coming in and eating. So for him, it's like not a big deal, and it's already
Okay.
set up. I don't know if it's completely open like that, but it's worth
Okay.
an ask. It's Latin America, so.
Or the
Yeah,
butcher's
market.
cuisine.
you cannot pick there.
Yeah, there's just no space.
There is literally
have
not
to
one
park like
place.
at the Boy
to park.
Scouts and walk
You
over.
will- Yeah, you will not be able to park. Invite a bunch of people there at the same time, you won't be able to park.
And the space is really small, but whatever.
Just FYI, there's a meeting, so.
Yeah, no, that's why we're wrapping up. And okay, the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and I'll put this again, I'll probably put this in future meetings because we can't really talk about it much, is the MiamiLakesBiz.net. That website that we have is basically like just a relic. It's just kind of there.
Dead.
Yeah, we built it a while, or not we, I wasn't there, but I know who built it. Bernardo built it a while ago. And he did it with, basically like he just built like a simple website, one pager that basically held the info on how to find local intel. This is where local intel lives, by the way. And then also it includes basic information on businesses. And it also includes, I even saw a business spotlight, which has been Eddie Cedeno from
Nice.
Smiles for like forever. So good for him. He's
Wow.
he's
Nice.
been the
Yeah,
future
well,
business
must
forever.
be nice.
It was
And-
supposed to be changed monthly.
No, I know,
So
I
the-
figured. And then it also has a section, which I think is something that we could really go on.
Which just.
It's got a
has,
section
like,
on discounts and things like that, where it's like,
I
oh, you
remember
show them
that.
the website, and you're like, hey, like I got the Miami Lakes
Yes.
discount, which is like a really good idea. And it gives a reason to go on the website, a reason to go to restaurants and be like, oh, look, EDC discount, like,
That's
you
actually-
know,
I like
scan
that.
my
That's a good
coupon
idea.
here, we could really expand on that. So that's just something I wanna think about, and I'm the website guy, so like I have more info, like, or not info, but like, I like websites. And I feel like this is something that we should, capitalize on, because it's something that we have that's just, like I said, it's just a one pager with local intel, a picture of Specialty Smiles, and then text, bullet points of deals.
Some old discounts.
Yeah, old discounts that probably wouldn't be on it. So that's why I think it's something that we could really push. We could really have an actual featured monthly business. This could tie in really easily to the Best of Miami Lakes. We can put the voting on that website, like click here to vote. You know
Right,
what I mean? Like you can really use that website as like the Miami Lakes business website, like what it should be.
sure.
You'll see.
Can we also check if MiamiLakesBiz.com is back available? If they renewed?
Yeah, I remember it got stolen.
I
That's
know,
not
that's
garbage.
why.
They had .com and.
Do we have
They let it
on the,
go.
on the website, do we have like a email subscriber list? Like where people can sign up,
Thing where it says join our mail,
mailing list?
our newsletter or something like that.
Like, I would think that,
See, we
But I
got 3
don't know
minutes
where
left.
those
If
go.
somebody had to kind of
what about
update
also
that site
including, like
and have like
they
a
also
rights
put
to
in their
it,
phone
what
number
would
if
that
they
cost
wanna go
monthly?
text
To
update
have somebody-
something, for.
Depends,
Maybe
like
grab
100,
this and tell us.
100,
You know, that would be
$100.
something that would be
Yeah,
good
that's
as
not a
well.
lot of money.
or less.
Right.
I know the text can do really long.
Correct. We can take a
That's why, yeah, it's not gonna be much. It's gonna be less.
Keep it
than
up to
200.
date and.
Yeah, just like the,
Just
just
some-
a
some
maintain-
contractor,
do it.
A
Yeah.
website maintenance person.
Yeah, I mean, I could,
Send
figure
them
that
info
out.
through the town and then they just could get.
Yes, that's why, that's very easy to do, that's why, it's literally what I'm doing on the daily, that's why, with like 30 different people, so that's why it's definitely super doable to do that, like to just have, somebody do the monthly updates. But whatever, that's something I wanna explore and that we can do in the future. Real quick announcements, Miami Lakes candidate forum is October 17th, that's not that easy, the chamber is helming that, and the town and stuff like that, that's gonna be the debate between Josh and Tony and stuff like that, October 17th. October 19th, Mental Health Awareness Fall Festival, that's the town's doing that with Rosie and stuff like that, also from the chamber. October 24th is State of the Town and Tico's birthday, and then November 3rd is Veterans Parade, I do that for my dad, you remind him that I did that for him, and then November 3rd is the Veterans Parade.
It has nothing.
Oh, yeah, right, November, should I do that? Oh, that's right. And then November seventh is the Chamber Expo, which I wanted to talk about. Usually the EDC gets a table at the expo. Do we wanna do that again?
Yes.
We get the table, it's $250 because the EDC is a member. That's how much it costs to get the
Who's
table.
manning?
Last time it was me.
I'm just saying.
November seventh.
I'm gonna be there anyways.
I can help, I just have to split my time between BNI and
I mean, I'm gonna
EDC.
be there, that's why I sat there anyways. I take pictures a little bit at the start for the chamber, and then I sit there and I'm like, hey,
November
chair, nice to
7th.
talk, so.
November seventh.
Picture of Marie.
Okay, but, okay, so here's my plight with that table. We don't have anything to offer at that table. Like, for example, if we had like a
No, we
date,
do,
Do we have swag from
because
our?
we have
not just
all those
one,
food bags,
but-
we,
but
they're in my
but
car.
what I'm saying
It's like a
is like,
bag
can we
car.
like whip up a date for like the next boot camp or something? Can we do something at that table other than just like hand out cows? Like, that's just the problem, is that people, like, what's the point of the table? You know what I mean?
I mean, when last time, the majority of people that come up is because they're checking out businesses and then they
Uh-huh.
come to me and they're like, oh, you're the EDC, like, what is it that you guys
We
do?
should
We
come
talk
up
about
with
the
a-
Is
network
that how they
events,
sound?
doing-
Is that what they sound like?
Basically, yeah, and then
We
we
should come up with
yeah,
like
we do
a
social,
cocktail that.
whatever, I told you about the seminar.
Yeah, like, we need to
EDC
do
conference.
something. We need to do
Yeah,
something on
discuss
that,
it.
yeah. I don't know.
Work it out too. Have your bartender work it.
Like, yes, we should have a table, but I think our table needs to have something.
Yeah, I'll provide.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta figure it out right now.
I know,
Be
right,
for it,
in
that's why.
3 minutes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want the.
The flyer that leads
Yeah.
to the EDC page. That kind of just vaguely says to make sure that you know you're setting up to do with events and upcoming boot camp, the networking. stuff.
Okay, so
That's basically what I do when I'm sitting there.
Can
That's what I
we,
tell
can
them.
we, can we for that table come up with the quick questionnaire, like the feeder questionnaire on, for the topics
Oh,
for
true, that's a
EDC?
good idea.
And like, they can't have a cow unless they take
Unless
the
they
quiz.
answer the
Yes.
question. That's actually a great idea, because everybody. feeds
Motivate
out.
them.
There you go.
Crazy, yeah.
So you can have a cow,
But
but
you
you
gotta
need to
get
take
the
our,
survey.
like, 3 questions,
That's
not
actually a great
even.
idea.
And they need to put in their email so that we can blast them when we start registration and all that. You're welcome.
Are we just gonna table this?
The
I think we
others,
have
yeah,
to,
it's
yeah.
gonna be too long for right now. I kind of
Was
figured.
it gonna be
it
the
was take
whole
up like
list or
half
just
the
the
meeting.
highlighted ones? Like, I'm
Huh?
wondering, was it gonna be the whole one
The
or just the
whole,
highlighted?
the whole thing.
What are the highlighted?
were, those are
Together.
businesses
People are
that, like,
together.
together.
Oh, okay.
Should be like
That's a lot.
1 to 15.
Yeah, can we get a sign? You do that, John? You said you were gonna assign this.
Yeah.
There's
Do it,
some
bro.
that are not
Just send
new,
us
it's
the
like,
I
Excel
think
with the
honestly-
position.
So. the
I
one
think
that
it's
I
fine.
had, the markup,
Oh, true.
maybe-
You can take this one. I marked the ones that we have been into recently.
I
It's
can
not
go-
that
And I
many.
can go through ones that
Oh, true, yeah.
are
Andrea knows.
existing businesses.
Yeah. she really
Jonathan.
knows.
Could you do what you did once when, you know, we decided already who was going to do it and stuff like that, but now kind of randomly, and you send that Excel saying you.
Just randomly assigned.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could if you want. It's fine, it's fine.
Minus the ones that we worked on.
Yeah, the ones we've done it, if Andrea
And let me
has a
just-
chance to
yeah,
take
I'll
a look
just
at
let
it
you
first,
put
that would
There's
be.
like a Norca Realty, they've been here forever.
So Andrew
It
got
was just like a real
got the
estate agent.
deets, got the deets.
I will do that as soon as I can. I'm going out of town tomorrow.
I mean, that's fine, that's fine.
Unacceptable,
Fine, you're excused.
They
Alright,
make
cool.
it like they used to.
right? Yeah.
They
Okay,
By the way, when are you
better,
done?
they make them better.
When are you gone? When? I think since you were gone now.
We're gonna start working on the new part-timer.
Alright,
oh, okay, wow.
alright, cool.
On that
So-
note, motion to adjourn.
Cool.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Be free.
thank